Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for NALAG's first online Remembering the Baby ceremony. This coincides with the International Pregnancy and Infant Loss Day, held on the 15th of October each year. We're so pleased to reach out to so many grieving mothers and fathers, family and friends who have experienced the pain and grief that comes with pregnancy loss through miscarriage, stillbirth, the death of a baby soon after birth, or early years of infancy. NALAG has held a special remembering ceremony in Dubbo since the dedication of a very unique Babies Memorial Rock Garden in 2006. This garden is filled with natural river rocks. No rock is the same. Like each person's grief is so unique. The rocks can be inscribed and left in the garden as a place to come to sit and reflect on your loss and honour your baby. Later in the ceremony, we will invite you to mark this day in your own unique way, such as by lighting a candle, laying flowers, writing a poem or dedication, playing special music, or simply sitting somewhere special to reflect on the meaning of your experience. I know through my own experience of pregnancy and baby loss, and through the stories of countless others, how painful and lonely this grief can be. The loss is often discounted and very, very misunderstood. This grief experience can turn your world upside down. Most of us don't ever contemplate that this type of loss can actually happen to us, that our pregnancy can end in miscarriage, that some babies and infants die. The heartbreak is complex, often involves the loss of your own dreams for your child, the loss of the future for them and you. Remembering can also be about the love you felt for your baby then and continue to feel for your baby now. Often these dreams are not shared or spoken out loud, even between couples. Your grief is so often experienced as silent sorrow. We know that creating memories and reflecting and sharing your experience assists with healing. Other people around you, family and friends, may feel their own sorrow. They too may have had dreams and expectations about their relationship with your baby. This can be very true for those who have other children that were looking forward to having a little brother or a little sister. During this ceremony, we have asked a number of people to speak to what they think is the importance of remembering, what they think the community needs to know about pregnancy and infant loss. Some will share what they do to honour their loss and their baby. I particularly want to thank them for sharing their precious story with us today.
Hi, my name's Michael Carr-Gregg, and 31 years ago, on March the 1st, 1989, my daughter Sarah died, some 16 hours after she was born, and my heart, like many dads in the same situation, shattered into a million pieces. My whole world turned upside down. I had to learn, as a bloke, that tears shed for another person were not a sign of weakness, but the sign of a pure heart. It never crossed my mind that I would have to bury my child. So each year we light a candle and have it burn for 16 minutes, a minute for each hour of life she had. While each person's grief has its own fingerprint and is never easy, quick, or exactly the same for each person, this little family ritual has helped us as a family and me as a father to learn to live with loss. Remembering Sarah is a reflection of how important she was to us and allows me to continue on my path of healing. So I want to congratulate the National Association for Loss and Grief for holding this annual remembrance ceremony each year. And the next time I'm in Dubbo, I shall make a point of visiting the Remembering Babies rock garden. While the painful feelings of Sarah's death have decreased in intensity over time, as long as I live, as long as I breathe, with every beat of my heart, I'll remember that little girl.
Hi, I'm Rochelle Olsen and I'm a lost mum. I've had 5 pregnancies and they've resulted in 2 miscarriages, 1 neonatal death, and I have 2 sons.
My name's Tamika Trudgett and I live in Narromine, New South Wales, and I've experienced infant loss in December 2019.
Vianney, McAllister. I have been a midwife for over 30 years and I've also been a grief and loss counsellor.
I often call myself a lamplighter, and I've coined that phrase because it's an incredibly dark and isolating time when you are a lost parent, and I just think it's nice to be able to see that there's light, not just at the end of the tunnel, but that you can pick bits of light each day and live your life in grace and in honour of that baby that you've lost, and that it doesn't have to all be dark, and that I'm living proof of that. Mm-hmm. So if you can find someone who's been through it, you're not alone. Remembering Edward and his loss is really important to me, that he still has a place in the world and that he's not forgotten.
I think it's important to remember and also to celebrate, so it's not a taboo subject when speaking about it and speaking about your child.
I believe it's important to remember, because as we go through the remembering, we actually realise that we're remembering differently. We have different, from year to year, how we remember changes, and that can be like little signposts for us that we're actually moving through.
Being that I have 4 other children, for us we did have to celebrate it, and we grieved, and we still do, and we find that celebrating it though and things like that help with our kids a lot better.
Even though you can't see it from the outside, our family's a lot bigger than what it looks like. So that's why it's important to me that he's remembered and honoured.
So what I feel the community in general need to be aware of and know is that it's really important not to ignore someone who has had a loss like this.
I would like the community to know that it's not a taboo subject to speak about, and that it is okay to say their names and ask questions about it, because sometimes that's all the parents do want that have experienced it, is that they do like to speak about their baby. And even though the baby has passed, we still do celebrate birthdays and things like that, and the birthday, and I just think it's nice to know that other people that are experiencing this can come out and speak about this and be in the community.
I think the community needs to know where they can access help, and they need to know where they can educate themselves on loss, whether it be any loss or baby loss in particular. I think language is really important, where they can learn how to approach and talk to a family or family member or friend that's lost a baby. I just want them to know there's services there, and that their friends and family can be easily supported by them.
Be gentle and just ask the person, what do you need from me today? And be aware that every day it will be different. But what can I do for you today? And it might be, I need my space today. Or what can I do for you today? I need someone to just sit and talk to me, or have a cuppa, or let's pretend that life's just normal today. So it's not about ignoring, it's about asking gently and then respecting what that person says, not looking after our needs, which are, I really need to make you feel better, but looking after their needs and giving them the opportunity to be able to let you know what that is.
We have his ashes on a shelf, and it's got his little bears and stuff.
Personally, on International Pregnancy and Infant Loss Day, we light a candle for Edward all day. We participate in the Wave of Light at 6 p.m, and in recent years I've helped hold community events to raise awareness. I have an area of my home that I remember him in, and I have his ashes along with his blanket and all of those sort of things that are really important to me. I've kept them all together.
For his first birthday, we'll be having a celebration with our family and friends, as during the funeral time we didn't really have that, so we're looking forward to having that for his first birthday.
I started a business to help other mums in that area, and a small community of pals, which is parents after loss. We have a little coffee on a Sunday once a month and just catch up, and we mightn't even talk about loss, but we know we have that in common. So I'm just enjoying honouring him and remembering him that way, rather than feeling like I'm not doing anything. That's just the type of person that I am.
"21 years ago, my daughter Caroline was stillborn. She was my second child between my oldest and youngest sons, and I was really stunned by the experience of becoming the mother of a stillborn baby, about giving birth to a stillborn baby, about having to grieve a stillborn baby. And it completely cleaved my life into before and after. The myth about stillbirth is that it's something that happened in our grandmother's generation. And I remember thinking that after it happened to me, how could this happen? This is something that happened to my great-grandmother. And it did. My great-grandmother had 2 stillborn babies. And I kept thinking, how is it the case that I have ended up in a circumstance where I'm having a stillborn child and in this day and age? And I put that down to the fact that if you look through the pregnancy books, if you talk to your doctor or midwife, they don't often bring up stillbirth. And in the Senate, we recently had a Senate committee on stillbirth research and education. And we were hearing stories from mothers who had stillborn babies in the past 12 months. And they were saying the same thing, that they would go back to their doctors and say, why didn't you tell me this could happen? I mean, it happens 6 times a day. Stillbirth is not just one of those things that happens. There are steps you can take to reduce your risk. There are things that we could do better and differently in Australia. And there are babies' lives that could be saved. And therefore, it's important. It's a national health priority, and that we make it that so, if we're losing 2,200 babies a year and not asking what can we do to prevent it, well, we're poor as a society. So that's what I'd like the public to know, that there is something that we can do to reduce the risk of stillbirth.
Welcome to our Remembering ceremony, where we acknowledge the lives of the little ones that have left their mark on each of us gathered here today. They lived and touched us in ways we will never forget. It is these gifts of life, for however short time, that is their legacy to us. For all the parents whose child has died, may you find strength and peace. To brothers, sisters, grandparents and other relatives who have joined us today, may you find understanding, acceptance and support. For those going home to a place of little support, may you find friends and services who can walk alongside you so that you might be strengthened and find a peace in the journey. To all who are holding on to promises unfulfilled in the shadow of death, may you draw on the love of this night. By the many that stand with you, may you reach out to find the hope and comfort that connects us all. We'll now invite you to light a candle of your own in remembrance of your little one lost too soon.
We are connected, my child and I, by an invisible cord not seen by the eye. It's not like the cord that connected us until birth. This cord can't be seen by anyone on earth. This cord does its work right from the start, It binds us together, attached to my heart. I know that it's there, though no one can see, the invisible cord from my child to me. The strength of this cord is hard to describe. It can't be destroyed, it can't be denied. It's stronger than any cord man can create. It withstands the tests, can hold any weight. Though you are gone, not here with me, the cord is still there, but no one can see. It pulls at my heart, I am bruised, I am sore, but this cord is my lifeline as never before. I'm thankful that God connects us this way, a parent and child. Death can't take this away.